as well. So let's take a look at these riders a little bit as we delve into this. Okay, so Revelation 6. Then I saw when the Lamb broke one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying as with a voice of thunder, "Come." I looked, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Okay, so the first horse is the white horse, right? Now, there's debate as to who this is. We've gone over it in depth that it could be the Chuckster, for example, could be fulfilling a role there. It could be Jesus coming back at the end. He comes back on a white horse as well. And there's lots of thoughts in between those, extremes of is he the Antichrist or is he the Christ? But right now we're going to focus on the colors here. Colors. We have a lot of other videos on the aspects of the horses, and you can go check those out for more information. So the word white here is lukos. Lukos. Okay. So remember, it's lukos is the word, right? Now, they didn't have lukos, but they had lukipos, which is pretty close. So basically means, I think, like little white horses. So it's like lukos. Lukipos. So lukipos. All right, so I want to show you this. So lukipos. So, I found this all very intriguing. Like, why is it that it seems that a lot of these comets and asteroids have the same orbit? Like, they're all kind of in the same orbit, and it kind of, again, fights against the whole concept that we're hurtling through space, constantly revolving in different, directions, because, this idea of like we're like corkscrewing and then also circling. And anyway, it just kind of blows all that out the window. But this idea that why are they all on the same trajectory? And what is it about Virgo? Revelation 12 really seems to get us to be looking at the woman, right? It kind of seems to be a focal point for us. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I'm saying, okay, when does this go into Virgo? Okay, so here's Lukipos. This is the white horse, okay? So let me back this up, actually. I'm in the wrong year. So in 2023, so I just want to give you a taste of some of these. And by taste, I want to give you a lot of them, of course. Let's see. Let me back this up a little bit. Okay, so here we are. So we're at 1023, 1026. So some believe that we're at, this is actually the true Yom Kippur right now, and that we may be out of here very soon. And boy, wouldn't that be nice? And I think it makes sense. It's logical, and I'm going to go over that deeper when I get to the calendar part. But anyway, so here is Lukipos, and stop just a little bit. Okay, so Lukipos. So what's interesting is a lot of these I found. Hey, Francis, woohoo! Thanks, brother or sister. I guess that's a sister, right? Thanks, Francis. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the ministry, and praise the Lord. But a lot of these, what I found is a lot of these horses, we'll call them, were hanging around asteroids, or hanging around Taurus and Gemini right now. And I thought that was interesting because Taurus has a connection with Christ as the king, and Gemini has a connection with the 2 witnesses. So it's kind of interesting timing there. So here, we'll start, and just watch Lukipos there in the center of the screen. And I'm just going to start going up, if I can get it to move. Okay, go, white horse, go. Okay, so it's going kind of slow, but it's going. So basically it kind of swirls around for a while in the Taurus area. And then come 2024, it's like on the move. It's like, whoa, boom, boom, boom. Riders on the horse, boom, 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 boom. And interestingly, of all the constellations it could go through, it goes through Leo, and then it hangs out in Leo for a while. And then it goes, I believe it goes, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember. Yes, I think it goes back down to Virgo ultimately. And so that's getting into 2025 and so forth. So I found that kind of intriguing. Okay, so that's the white horse. Lukos or Lukipos is the white horse. And interestingly, let's see. I think I have it here. Lukipos. Leucippus means white horse. Just want to show you that so you know that that's what that means. Okay, so that's literally the white horse, Leucippos, or Leucippus. Pretty much the same word there, but I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, when you look up Leucippos meaning, it gives you this, so white horse. So, okay, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, and then a couple more on the white horse, and then we'll look at the next color here. Because there were a few here that were kind of interesting. There was white. Hey, Francis, woohoo, thanks. There was white, there was the white rabbit, white knight, and white house. I thought these were all kind of interesting. So if you'll humor me here, let's see if I can do it quick enough. So, and they all seem to have kind of interesting playouts here. So let me go back here. Don't. Come on, man. Okay. So I'm going to kind of get in the ballpark here. Okay. So here's white. White is currently at the lion. So just plain white. Now it could be this not called white horse, could just be white. But I thought that was kind of interesting. So if I go a little further with white, white comes on down by December. Now, around December. Now, what's interesting about that is that's the same time that the Chuckster, who did represent himself as a rider on a white horse and received a crown. That's just a fact. Whether you want to, he's not the Antichrist we wanted, but he's the one we got. He's currently filling the role. So it may be somebody else ultimately, but in any case, what's interesting is that matches up quite nicely with getting into the COP of the 2/8 that's coming up here at the end of November up to December 12th. So that's kind of right in that ballpark there. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. Next one is White Rabbit. I thought that was kind of, we know there's a White Rabbit in IPG, right? Follow the White Rabbit. So I thought, that's kind of an interesting one to explore as well. So if you don't mind, granted, it's not a horse, but I thought, it might still be worthy of exploration a little bit here. So, so if I go back a little bit, so White Rabbit's currently hanging around Gemini. Again, a lot of them around Gemini and Taurus, and I thought that was interesting because Gemini again kind of represents the two witnesses, and I thought, what does this mean? Is this pointing, at this time? Is it because are they there because the two witnesses are coming on the scene, and then at the proper moment, it's kind of like they're off stage with the two witnesses hanging out. And then he starts making his way down. That White Rabbit starts making his way down to Leo and the lady in 2024. Okay. So then we've got white, a couple more whites, if you'll humor me on these. White Knight. Now, White Knight kind of seemed appropriate as well. Because the rider on the horse, white horse, could be a white knight, right? So that's kind of interesting. And as you see, White Knight is right there by the woman already. And let me back this up though. See where he starts out a year ago, 2023. Okay, 2023. So same deal. He starts out at Gemini again. So it's kind of interesting, you got these kind of both starting out with the two, arguably, representative two witnesses, the Gemini. And then he kind of, they all kind of swirl around there for a little while, like they're just sort of hanging out in the lounge, like, hey, what's up, guys? And then they make their way down to the lady again, to Virgo. So that's kind of interesting as well, the White Knight. And then the last one here is White House. And I thought, does this point to destruction of USA? What could the White House mean? It could mean a lot of things. But White House is also right there. You see, it's right by the lady. That's in 2025. So I guess I don't have to scroll through all of them, but I just, Okay, so White House kind of starts out, let's see. Where does it start? Just kind of curious where it starts. Wait, hold on. 2023. And we back it up just a little bit. So White House kind of starts out around Taurus. And then by 2024, it's made its way down to Virgo as well. So does that point to the eclipse that's coming next year? And, and maybe destruction of America, i.e. the White House is sort of like the head of America. So is there some connection there? Okay. So that's the white horse exploration for your consideration across the nation, a celebration. Okay. So you got Leo here. Okay. Yeah. Goes through Leo and then goes down to the woman. Wow. Right around late 2024 there. White House is there. So, kind of something to consider. Okay, let's move on. So let's move on to the red horse now. The red horse is, I guess we got to show that to you here first. The red horse. Stop horsing around. Okay, so the red horse is the word pyros. Pyros, okay, that's red, which means like fiery red. Like pyro, you're a pyro, or a funeral pyre, so fire or red, okay? So that's what that horse is all about. Okay, let's come over here. So there's a few here that kind of have that root of pyro or pyr. Hey, thanks so much for subscribing, 11th Hour Prophet. I see you there. Thank you. Praise God. It's good to have you as part of the fun. Okay, so pura is kind of similar to pyro here. Again, same root of fire. And pura now, let's see, pura, let's go back here a year. Okay, so right now, come on now. This thing is kind of slow. All right, there we go. So pura is currently in Leo. So, and with all that's happening in the world, you could argue, there's a lot of fire going on in terms of the red horse causing, WAR in the world. So he's currently in Leo right now, if I can call him a he, and he's moving his way down to the woman as well. And again, guys, what are the odds that all of these wind up at the woman and the lion? I mean, the lion represents Christ. The woman is the church. What is the odds that all these words, they could have wound up in any constellation. They could be anywhere. They could be going in any direction. Why are they all winding up at the lion and the woman? I find that quite shocking and compelling. It's like, what? They could have gone off. There's so many other constellations out there that they could be hanging around. But for whatever reason, I think we know what the reason is. They're hanging out here with the lady, God's lady, and the lion. Okay, very interesting. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, then, so there's pura and there's purus. Again, similar to puro, same root. Now, this is purus. Now, this again starts in Gemini and makes its way to the woman. Let me go over here again. And if I go to 2023, see it's in Gemini right now. So it's like at this timing of the year. Let me go up a couple months where we are. Go up. And come on now. Okay. So kind of hanging around the head of Gemini. So they're kind of like they're all hanging out of Gemini, or they're all hanging around Taurus. And they're like, okay, guys, we're about to start. Things are about to get going. Some of them are already in the mix. Like the fire, the Pura was already down here. But this is like the second set of fire, maybe, that's coming along here. But anyway, so this starts out here, and Pyrrhus. Now, why we look at these? Do we worship the stars? No. But God told us He put the stars and the sun, and the sun, the moon, the stars in the heavens for signs. So we look at them because God told us to look at them, and He said that's what we'll be seeing. We'll be seeing signs in the heavens. So here it's making its way down to Leo. As you see here. And it's kind of hanging around the backside of Leo there a little bit. And Leo minor. I didn't know there's a Leo minor up there. And then finally it's like, all right, time to get down to Virgo. And it goes down by the lady in 2025. So very intriguing, and hangs around the lady for a while. Okay. Again, these things could be anywhere. They could be anywhere in the sky. So it just happens that the words that relate to the four colors of the four horsemen of the apocalypse are all right in the same vicinity. What are the odds of that? And the odds that they're on the same track with each other. Okay, so now here's Pyramus. Now that's a little bit different. Now we're in 2026, so let me back it up. Back to 2023 here. Okay, so 2023. Come on now. Okay, let me just... What do I got to do here? Can it... If I go down, though, it's going to change the year, too. I knew you would do that. Well, that's fine. I'll just do it that way. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll do the year up. 1. Okay. So here we are back at October. Now, Pyramus is already at the lady. And Pyramus is, again, fire. Versions of fire. So fire, representing the fiery, the fire of the horse, perhaps. Or just fire that's going on in the world. So this is all going on right now. This is all from October to November. Boom, Pyramus is already there. Okay, Pyramus is already in the mix. Okay, cool. 2 more on the red horse, and then move on to the next horse here. Okay, so there were a couple ones that were just called red. Now, there weren't any that were called horse. Of course, I looked for that first. There are horse nebula, and there's horse clouds and things, but there's no horse objects that named horse. But again, these are the actual Greek names in the Bible for these horses, so that's why we're looking at this. Now, there is, of course, the colors of, in English, we looked at white, and here's red. So there's one called Red Man. Red Man could be a rider on the red horse. He's a man, perceived as a man. And now he's hanging out. Okay, he's hanging out in Taurus right now. So Taurus, again, represents Christ and his reign as the king. He goes from lamb to bull, and they sacrificed both the bull and the lamb in the temple. And I'll show you an article here in a second where he's connected with Taurus as well as the bull as the leader. And he's coming back as the prince, as the leader. So Red Man could be hanging around with Christ. It's kind of interesting. So you got people either hanging around Gemini, like the 2 witnesses are about to come on the scene. Like kind of, hey guys, kind of maybe pep talking like, hey, come on guys, 1260 days. You can do it. Or you got Taurus here. So, okay, so here's Taurus, and we're starting here in October, and we're making our way back to Leo. So again, he kind of hovers for a while, like, okay, this is fun. I guess I'm on. Let's go. And then he starts making his way down past the witnesses there, past Leo, and then here's Leo, and down to the woman. Now, why would they all go in the same direction, guys? I mean, isn't that in itself is just sort of mind-boggling? So he kind of comes down the woman. He's like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah. He's like that little meme of the kid who like runs in the room and turns around. So that's Red Man. Okay, and then he makes his way down to the scales. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. And then last one on the red one is red wine. Stay close to me. Okay, so this was the second time red wine has come up in this conversation tonight. So red wine, of course, Jesus is the red wine. He was poured out like wine, poured out like a drink offering. He drank the wine with us, and he's not going to drink it again with us until he's in heaven with us. So there's a red wine connection. Well, red wine is already in Leo here and making his way down to the woman right now as we speak. So could that be Jesus coming to rapture us away? It could be. Woohoo! Come on, Lord, let's go. Take us away. Wow, that's pretty cool. Red wine. Red wine. So 10. Okay, so we're at 10:26, good buddy, as of tomorrow. And give a shout out. There's a certain birthday girl out there who's got a birthday tomorrow. I won't say the name, but let me just say, happy birthday, happy early birthday for you. But anyway, so red wine, 10:26 is right there. So Jesus, is red wine. Really, and we're like the wine too, because we put new wine into new wineskins. And of course, we drink the cup, which represents his blood of the red wine. So that's very intriguing. So red wine making his way from Leo, and Jesus is the Lion of Judah, and coming down to the woman. Wow, interesting. So by the end of the year, he's at the woman. Very interesting there. Something to consider. But just kind of kisses her on the cheek. So kind of kisses her on the cheek and then runs back up to the lion. It's like just like a little bass. A little beso. So he just like comes down, swoops her away, a little beso, and then comes back to the lion. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's go on to the black horse now. So black horse, and again, there wasn't specifically a black object, I don't think. Oh, wait, there is one. Is there one? Oh, yeah, there is one there. Oh, yeah, I have it here. Okay, so there is one called black. So I guess we'll look at that one first. And then I'll show you the word for black in the Greek, and that is also there. So all the Greek words for these horses are essentially there in the heavens, which is pretty cool in and of itself. But let's check this out. So this is just the word black object. And so, again, is a color, but could represent the horse. So, again, starting out in Gemini. I mean, come on. You got to say, like, of all the places you could start and finish, why they all start at Gemini and end at the woman, or all start at, Taurus and end at the woman. Now, obviously, they don't technically end. I mean, they go on from there, but just the fact that they follow that same track is pretty amazing, would you not say? Okay, so here we are hanging out at Gemini. They're like, okay, time for the black horse to make a run for it. So he's like, all right, dudes, I'll catch you soon. Catch you on the flip side. See, and he starts to go in another direction. Like, they all kind of start to hover in like another direction, and they all end up going in the same direction. I mean, that's kind of too uncanny, don't you think? Okay, so they go. Okay, so there goes. Go by Leo. Now he's going down by the woman by 2024. So wow. I mean, come on. What are the odds of this? Okay, now let's go back to the scripture and look at the word for black here, for the black horse. Oh, all right. Having trouble reading all this. Let's see. Hope you're finding this as interesting as I find it. Or maybe you find it more interesting than I find it. That would be good too. Okay, so then we get here. Wait, why am I in black horse? I guess the green horse was next. Oh, sorry, I skipped. Oh, well, let's just finish black horse since we're here. Is that okay? If I go out of order? Sorry, I put them in the wrong order. Because I just have one more for black and then I have some for green. So just so we can keep them straight. So it's ashen horse. Remember we talked about ash in the other video? Man, you gotta keep up with these videos, man, because we cover some stuff and it's like, man, it's kind of builds on us. It's like my kids say, you gotta know the meme, lingo, dad, skibbity, phantom tax, the time for the Rizzler. You know what I'm saying? So they're teaching me the lingo. So if you're not on top of it, so they do memes on memes, so if you've been watching all the memes and you don't know what the meme means for the other meme. So it's kind of like, that's how my videos work too. It's like, remember we talked about ash and people were like, no, your videos are so long. I have no idea. Well, go back and watch them again. Get more out of them the next time. That's the cool part. You always have something to watch. Okay. So ashen. Okay. So interesting. Sickly pale. Oh wait, no, this is the pale horse. Now I'm getting confused. Was I right the first time? Oh yeah, the third one was the black. All right. Sorry, I saw. What did I see? I thought I saw something else. Well, anyway, so I was right the first time. Okay, praise the Lord. Okay, so the black horse. Just been looking at a lot of colors today. My eyes are going buggy. Okay, so the black horse is melas. Okay, melas. Now we go over to handy dandy stellarium. And we put in melas. Oh, man. Oh, and I got a couple fun surprises for you here, too. I talked about the Gatherer on the cover here. Well, we'll talk about that's coming up, too. Man, I got some fun stuff here, man. Woo-hoo! But only for those who appreciate a fine wine. You know what I'm saying? It could be non-alcoholic. It doesn't have to be an alcoholic wine. I'm just saying, It's the spirit of the word, You appreciate a sophisticated palate of truth. Okay, so melas, the deeper studiers among us. Okay, so melas is interesting. Okay, so this means black, but is the literal word from the Bible. Okay, the Bible, if you know what I mean. Okay, so melas. Let me go back over here. Ooh, man, feeling kind of melas. Not sure what that means. Wow. Okay, so melas is already at the woman right now. So the word we find for black horse which is the famine, okay, which makes sense because food is disappearing, right? Food prices are rising, skyrocketing, and they estimate very quickly we're going to be, there's already an abundance, millions of people who don't have the proper amount of food. You could argue it's already at a day's wage for some people in some places to get that loaf of bread. But here's Melas. He's already there at the woman. Now, I do want to also note that Mars and Mercury are hanging out together a lot with the woman right now, and they kind of represent the two witnesses in a way as well. So they've been hanging out there. The moon's there, the sun's there. Wow, everybody's hanging out. Now, this was, of course, at the 15th of this month. Let me move it up a little bit here. So, but yeah, there's Mars and Mercury getting together. So that could be the two witnesses at the feet of the woman. Coming up here at the end of this week, and there's some stuff happening at the end of this week I'm going to go over that it's really kind of amazing as well. But there's Melas, sort of on the wheat of the woman. Melas. And that could represent the black horse of famine, especially because it's on the wheat, too, on top of it. It's not just, wow, that's powerful. So it's not just black horse representing, but it's on top of the wheat, on the spica. It's on spica. Wow. Which means wheat. Or grain, wow, and that's what the black horse is doing. It's creating the famine. Whoa, that is deep. Okay, so that's by the end of this month, and then makes his way down from spica to the scales. Ooh, wow. By early next year. Man, that's intense. Black horse of famine landing on spica right now. Wow, that's pretty intense. Okay. Let's keep going here. So that was the right order. Okay, so now we're on the green horse. I guess I should go start with the scripture. That would keep me on track here. Okay, so let's go back up here. Wow, very interesting. So that's the famine. That's the famine, the quart of wheat, and that's what she's holding in her hands, and that's where Melas is right now, in heaven right now, or right within this week. Wow. On spica. Right on spica. Does that not blow your mind? Is that not a sock moment? Woohoo! Man, you guys gotta maybe shout out your own sock moments in the chat in the chat. You can just shout out to your chat. Hey, that's a sock moment. And just throw some socks because I might forget. I might forget the sock moments. So you got to help me out there. But wow, is that not a sock moment? It's too bad. I know you guys are throwing up hearts and stuff. Too bad you can't throw up socks on the side. I don't know if it lets you do that. But sock moment, man. Wow. Melas is right on spica, which represents the famine. Whoa. Oh, man, it's too rich. I don't know if I can handle it. Too much for Mr. Incredible. Okay, wow, that's really awesome. Okay, I'm trying to shout off mic, by the way. I know some of you have complained that you wear headphones, and when I shout in the mic, it blows your ears away. So I'm trying to shout off mic. I can't hold back the spirit, though. If I get excited, I just have to let it out. But I will try to do it off mic as much as I can. Okay, so now we're on the fourth seal. Now we're at the pale horse. Sorry, I had him confused there. My fault. It says sickly pale, but we know that it also means green in a greenish way, which if you think about when you get pale, you get kind of green in the face. I know when one of my sons was born, he was very green. He kind of had some jaundice going on there. He didn't want to eat. And so he was getting a little green in the face. And so you get a little pale. When you get kind of pale and you lose color, you kind of like, ugh. So you get kind of sickly. Green or pale, green or yellowish pale, greenish. So it's greenish, it's pale, it's palish, it's green. Okay, so of course I covered both of those terms, all right? But what was the word? Oh, sorry, gotta look at the word there real quick. Man, are you enjoying the sock moments here, people? Oh boy. Chloros, okay, cool. So chloros is the word. Chloros, okay, chloros. All right, kind of like Clorox or chlorine. Chloros. Okay, so going back over here, I put in the word chloros, and we got chloris, which is pretty close, spelled virtually the same way with one letter change there. And this was actually brought to me by Brandy, such a fine channel. So she brought that to me as well. So thank you, Brandy, for that, pointing that out. Because I was like, well, man, you found the red horse. What else can you find? So she found chloris, so I appreciate that. That was great. Because they go, they watch, and they listen, and they see. Okay. She's got her own jingle and everything. Okay, so Chloris. Oh, let's see here. Let me back this up a little bit. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know it takes a little time sometimes to get your feet back on the ground, but hopefully it's helpful. I know there's videos that do this in 10 minutes, but the point is it's kind of cool to kind of see it all come together. I mean, I enjoy that, so I hope you do too. So 1024, okay, good buddy. Okay, so Chloris, the pale horse, is actually in the scales. It's in Libra right now. So it's in the place of judgment. Ooh, wow. And we know the pale horse, and what does the pale horse do again? Death, I think is what it represents, right? Why are you laughing, Mikhail? I'm not really laughing. I'm just trying to stay joyful in the midst of it all. You got to laugh, otherwise you cry, guys. He sat on and had a name, Death, and Hades was following him. Yeah, so that's basically what we're talking about there. And people killed each other with swords and famine and pestilence and wild beasts. How nice. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. So Chloris, okay, that's in the scales. And that's where we are right now. Let's go up a little bit and see what happens here with Chloris. Chloris. So it could be like, okay, the judgment was sort of passed on that, on the death and Hades, and Chloris is sort of making the rounds, and I imagine Chloris is going to come back around to the woman here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wait. Chloris doing a U-turn there? What's going on? Hanging out with Aquarius a little bit? Okay. All right. Now, I mean, death will obviously go throughout, Revelation. Now, here we are back at Taurus with Chloris. Chloris at Taurus. And Chloris is hanging out with Taurus for a little bit. Like, hey, what's happening? Maybe a Jesus moment here. So kind of hanging out with Taurus. Like, okay, all right, get on your way, little Chloris. And then Chloris is going past Gemini now and making, I want to say her way. It sounds like a girl's name. Chloris going to make her way. Could be a female rider on the horse. We don't really know. But unless, I don't know, maybe there is a masculine tone, then we'd have to look at that. But Leo, and finally back at the woman in 2027. Now that's interesting because that's right around the time that the two witnesses may have been put to sleep and resurrected, let's just say. So that's kind of interesting for Chloris. Okay, so that's literally the word for pale horse or pale green horse that we have in the Bible. Now let's look at a couple other ones here. There's one of green. Let's look up the color green. So far we've had all the colors, I think, except for maybe red. I don't think we had one that's just called red. It was red man and red wine. But we had white and we had black, and now we have green. So let's take a look at green here. All right. People say green, asteroid, you're fine. Okay. All right. Silly boy. Okay. Talking to myself, of course. Let's see here. Okay, green. Where's green? Gemini. I mean, I'm telling you, what are the odds? What are the odds? Can anyone tell me the odds? Because they're pretty slim, my friend, that you could have all of these colors. They're just sort of, random. They were randomly found. They were individually found at different times, different years. They were given name green or red or black or white, but they all happen to start at the same place right now, at Gemini or Taurus. Like, what are the odds of that? They could have been anywhere. It could be anywhere. They could be anywhere, but that's where they are. Come on. That's uncanny. Okay, so 2023, of course, green, the color, the only one named green, just like the only one named white, the only one named black, and then red man and red wine is at Gemini. Okay, so hanging out with the witnesses, it would seem, because the witnesses are about to come on the scene, so that would make sense. Everybody's hanging out with the witnesses, kind of giving them a high five, like, come on, guys, it's going to be awesome. Man, when you guys get out there, oh, man, we can't wait. So, okay, and then where does green go? To Leo and Virgo. But did you see how he kind of spun around in circles, like, which way should I go? Which way should I go? They all do that. They all kind of spin around, like, no, I could go this way, I could go that way. No, I'm going to Leo and Virgo. That's where I'm going. And there he is. By next year, that's where Green Machine will be. Wow. Pretty intense. I mean, we're not choosing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting the color in. It could be wind up at Aquarius, which Aquarius is kind of tends to be on that circuit as well, or Pisces, or it could wind up at like Cetus, or, I don't know. I'd have to look around here because I don't know my constellations, but, it could wind up at the dragon or the horse, or it could wind up at Orion, or it could wind up in a million different places. Why is it all winding up in the same place? Now, there may be some other explanation for that. I'm open to that. Feel free to leave that in the comments. But I find that pretty compelling. The things, even when they're spinning around, they look like they can go, well, I might go this way. I don't know. Maybe I'll go that way. But they always go the same way. And they always wind up going by Leo and the Lady. Leo and the Lady. Brought to you in part. Okay. So that's green. Okay. One more on this one, and that is Pales, because it's a pale horse, right? So let's check out that one. This channel, you get a little bit of everything. Sometimes I do stars. Sometimes I do deep Bible studies. Sometimes I do, the Cabal. I do all kinds of things here. So you're always going to get something new and fresh in Mikael Messenger. So it's fun to be doing something different today. Do a little star search with you. We may just find the superstar. Okay, so this is Pales, because it pales in comparison. Pales is already there at the woman. Okay, let's go up a month. Just kind of see. Whoops. Oh, down a month, I guess. And Pele is his name. So look at that. Pales is already at the woman. The pale horse pales in comparison. Now, again, these are the words that are closest to those original names. Okay, so that's Pales. So Pales then goes down into the scales by the end of the year, and then, boom, he moves on from there. Okay, so those are the 4 colors. Now, I got a few other interesting ones for you I want to share before we close out our Stellarium time, and then we'll move into some other time. We got calendar stuff going on. We got other things. Oh, boy, stick around, kids. It's going to be good. Okay, so Pyrrha, just a reminder, Pyrrha, that was the red horse, the fiery one. It also was, in Greek mythology, the wife of Deucalion, who was saved with him from the flood loosed by Zeus, or God. So interesting that it's connected with salvation from the flood, from God. So obviously the Greek God, but I'm just doing a parallel here because we've got the flood going on, the Al-Aqsa flood, as they've proclaimed it. And we've got this time of Noah, these couple weeks that we've been in, and the flood date is coming up. So I found that all very interesting, and Pyrrha is in the mix there. And what else do I have here? Oh, Pyramus. I guess I should have shown you these before when we saw them on the screen, but you can go back and check out how that matches up. But Pyramus means fire or wheat. So it can connect with harvest as well. The wheat harvest is Pyramus. Okay? And again, that comes from that root word pyro. And what else do I got in here? What's this one? Okay. Then white horse, Leukippos. Okay, we saw that already. Now, I just want to show you this about Taurus. Taurus is connected with Christ, the coming of the judge, Taurus. And there's connections with Jesus, and Taurus is considered the governor, the captain, the leader. That's who Taurus is, right? And that's Christ. That's how he's coming back. He's reminding us that Jesus, the coming ruler, was wounded for our transgressions. So there's that connection. So it's just interesting. They're hovering around Taurus, which is Christ, representing Christ. And then they're hovering around Gemini, representing the 2 witnesses that are about to come out. So it's really kind of intriguing that they all kind of start there and then they make their way down for their grand entrance. Okay, a couple more on this. That's Pyramus. What's this one? What's this? Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so this is another one. Now this one, Ippolito Nievo. Okay, what does that mean? Ippolito means letting the horses loose. Okay, now this is another asteroid that's up there, as you can see here. But what's interesting about this is they're hiding this one. Now, if you have the app downloaded, I was able to get it to come up on the app, but they even changed the name. They changed it to Ippolito Ni. They cut out the vo part. And if you do it here online, you can't even get it to come up. Watch this. I'll start typing in Ippolito here, and it will not come up. Ippolito. Okay, so I'm typing it. Nothing's coming up, right? No Ippolito. So maybe it's a way I have to type it or something, but it's not coming up. What's interesting about this is this Ippolito is an actual person, okay? Ippolito Nievo is this guy right here, okay? This is a dude. And it means releasing the horses or let the horses go. And Nievo has a few meanings. It can mean like a nephew, a grandnephew. It can also mean ni, if you just take the, because if you look it up on the app, it cuts out the vo. It's the same number though, so you know it's the same one. It's ni. I guess I have that here. Nievo means grandchild or grandnephew, and then ni can mean now. So like release the horses now. And nuevo or nievo. Well, nuevo means new. So it's like a new command to release the horses, even though nievo is a little bit different. I know that, but kind of similar to new. And also nieva means snow. So I don't know if it connects at all to the timing of the year. But I thought that was interesting. Ni can mean not on your life or never too. So I thought that was all kind of intriguing. But I was curious, why would they be hiding this one? And I don't know if I know conclusively why, but I did find it very intriguing that this guy, whose name again means release the horses now or never, or release the horses, the new horses, again, letting the horses loose, right? That's what it means, or to release. It says release right here, okay? And what's really interesting about this guy in particular, who they named this obviously after, and why they may be hiding it, is this guy is connected to this guy. And you're like, well, who's that guy? Good question. Well, this guy is actually the guy who famously wrote the letter. Oh, maybe it doesn't show it on here. Is that showing it here? Wait a minute. How come it's not? Boy, now it's not even showing me the page. They've deleted the page. What happened here? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this guy, Giuseppe, I'll just say, he is famous for being one of these guys, a Maid to the Sun, and he is the one who famously wrote the letters to, or that the letters were written to by this guy, who I've done videos on this page about, who is sort of the Grandmaster Cut Faster. He's the guy that their forefather of the Maid to the Son, and he's the guy behind this plan. If you haven't seen this first video on my channel, be sure to check it out, that all the WARs that we're experiencing were all planned back in 1871. They were planned by this guy, who's connected to this guy, who wrote the letters to this guy, who's actually connected to this guy, who this Let the Horses Go is named after. So I'm like, wow, well, maybe that's why they're hiding it. I don't know, but I found that very intriguing as well. Now, a couple more. Riders on the Storm. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, well, what about the word rider? Because they're horse riders. So I'm like, well, let's try rider. So rider wasn't there, but ride was there. So let's take a look at ride. And then I want to show you another interesting one here. So ride, gonna let it ride. All right, so ride, let it ride. Would you cry if I told you that lie, or would you say goodbye? Would you let it ride? Okay, so come on and take a free ride. Come on until you're by my side. Come on and take a free ride. I'm just singing while I get my dates together here. Okay, so but that's a great song by Edgar Winter Group. You should check that one out. Free Ride. That's about Christianity. The mountains are high, the valleys are low, and you're confused on which way to go. So I've come here to lend you a hand and lead you into the promised land. Oh, come on and take a free ride. Okay, so anyway, here we are with, this is the word ride, and we're in Sagittarius. Now, it's kind of different. Could go anywhere. Where does it go? Let's see where it goes. See, wait, did you see how it turned in like multiple directions? It's like, I could go all these different ways. But let's go to Aquarius and let's go to Pisces. Kind of interesting. Is this the ride that we're going to take through the tribulation? Like we're just kind of riding our way through the tribulation? Gonna let it ride. Riders on the storm. Okay, goes through Aries, which is the lamb. Then we get to Taurus. Oh, familiar faces. And Gemini. Bow, bow, ba-dow, bow, bow. Into this world we're born. Dun, 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 dun. To this world we're thrown. Boom, boom, ba-dow, boom, boom. Like a dog without a bone. Actor out alone. And we're back again. Isn't it surprising? Not really, right? We're back at Leo and the lady. Woohoo! Leo and the lady. Yeah. Leo and the lady. So there you go, guys. Gonna let it ride. 10/26. That's 2026. That's when that happens. So wow, very cool. And then I want to show you this one. I thought this was interesting. This is called the Cayman Rider. The Cayman Rider. What does this mean? Well, Cayman Rider means masked rider. And check out his colors. Red, green, white, and black. I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, he just happens to have the same colors we're talking about again, just like they have on the flags as well, right? All those complementary colors there, red, green, white, and black. He's called the Masked Rider, okay? And that's what Cayman Rider means. This was a TV series that was on back in 1971. Well, if we go back over here and we put in, and I forget how I found this, but I thought once I saw the colors, I'm like, okay, interesting. Maybe there's something to this. So Cayman Rider is actually the name of an asteroid. Cayman Rider, masked rider. That's what it means, masked rider. So let's take a look. And like I say, just a couple more on these, and then we're going to shift gears. Okay, Cayman Rider now starts around, starting in the scales, okay? Libra, okay, starting in the scales. Kind of makes sense. At least earlier this month. And now it's making its way down to... Again, these are all random. They're not connected to each other. At least as far as me looking them up. I'm just looking them up based on their names of rider or colors and so forth. But how is it they all seem to have an interesting connection with each other? So he's kind of hovering around Aquarius a little bit there, the masked rider. And then he makes his way through the fishies. Then he's going through the lamb. Then he's back at Taurus. And then he makes his way to Gemini and makes his way to Leo and the lady. I mean, man, you could count. I mean, do all asteroids, and that's what I wanted to do, they all go in the same direction? I mean, they don't, right? I mean, some go in other directions, right? I mean, they can't possibly all be going in the same direction. And even if they were, wouldn't that still be by design? Either way, you can't ignore design there. Like, okay, what are the odds? So by 2026, once again, kind of a mid-trib area there, 2026, 3 years in, pushing into the mid-trib area. Whoo, wow, guys, pretty intense. Okay,